Utah is home to the Rocky Mountains, Zion National Park, the Great Salt Lake, and other nationally and globally recognized scenic landscapes. The natural environment in which we live is simply breathtaking. While Utah is one of the most well-known scenic landscapes in the United States, the natural scenery we are blessed with is currently being compromised by how poorly we care for our environment as Utah residents. The stark contrast between the grandeur and beauty of the environment around us and our shameful environmental habits is unsettling. Through this presentation, I hope to paint a picture of how easy it can be to make small changes with big dividends. It is my goal to motivate action towards sustainability in Utah, both in a home environment and on a legislative level. As you can see through this outline, we will first discuss the ecology here in Utah and what types of hazards we face as a result of our current environmental habits. We will then talk about what the current plan of action is to reduce human impact compared to the environmental efforts of other states across the nation. Then we will discuss the changes in policy the government here in Utah intends to make and the reasons it provides for allowing these changes to take place. To conclude, we will cover what you can do personally to change your carbon footprint and how we can make this state a more sustainable place to live. The ecological issues in Utah span from water pollution to air pollution and everything in between. Recently, KBYU released a news article exposing the deadly impact of an algal bloom outbreak in Utah Lake. Algal bloom can be toxic and even deadly. This last incidence of algal bloom reported 38 sick from the toxicity of the poor water quality in Utah Lake. Smog from commuters also fills the skies each morning with early morning traffic headed up to Salt Lake City. Air pollution in Utah matches cities with over 3 times the population density. Another critical issue in Utah is the lack of resources for waste management. While all these issues are of critical importance, waste management has a simple, relatively inexpensive solution that is easy to implement. Good For You BYU released a segment about waste management practices across the United States and how Utah compares to other states. Out of 50 states, Utah is ranked 42nd in the nation in regard to its implementation of effective waste management practices. With all of the beautiful landscapes that Utah has, we cannot afford to fall so far behind the rest of the nation. Other states show their pride in their natural environment by investing in government-sponsored programs that greatly improve waste management. Although these programs are relatively inexpensive, they are immensely successful, not only by reducing waste, but also by setting a standard for being environmentally conscious, reifying that sustainability mindset. Growing up, I lived in Southern California, where the sustainability mindset is second nature for most California residents. This is due in part because of widespread accessibility to waste management centers wherever you go. I remember learning as a child how to separate the garbage into different waste containers and going with my mom to dispose of it properly. This was easy because in California, there are recycling centers in the parking lot of most large chain grocery stores. Because they are so widely accessible, it is convenient for California residents to be environmentally conscious. In addition to convenience, it was fun as a child to recycle because I got a nickel for every plastic bottle or aluminum can I collected and brought to be recycled. This waste management program in California was widely successful because of its accessibility and also because of the incentives given to participate in good waste management practices. By contrast, in the state of Utah, it is so much more difficult to find facilities where it is safe and effective to properly dispose of recyclable materials. Here, each household is given a single blue bin, which Recycle Utah in Park City says isn't much more effective than sorting through your regular garbage bin. Each material has to be recycled in a different way, and mixing materials together can be counterproductive. This means that although materials may fit under the umbrella term recyclables, it doesn't do us much good to put all of these materials together in the same blue bin. The limited resources that we do have are simply not enough for us to effectively do our part as individuals in this recycling effort. Since we know California has found so much success at the state level in applying waste management practices, let's take a look at how Utah intends to change state policies going forward. Instead of investing in our environment, Utah's legislative body is convinced that any waste management efforts will be too costly and too labor-intensive to be successful. There is also a concern that because Utah residents don't take care to recycle now, we will not have the motivation to suddenly become environmentally conscious when resources are available. While this argument is a genuine concern, we have seen success with these programs in the state of California, where policy successfully shaped individual behavior change. Moreover, in regards to the labor requirement for this program, the Bureau of Labor Statistics for the state of Utah shows that the employment rate is still at a rate of 3.4% as we recover from the recent economic crisis. While a waste management effort would indeed be labor-intensive, isn't that what Utah needs? The state's concern regarding motivation to comply should not go without mention. It is alarming that more Utah residents don't act on their desires to be more environmentally conscious. However, I do believe that we will not be successful in waste management, regardless of our desires to do so, if we do not have proper facilities to address our current need. We have the knowledge we need in order to be successful, but without government intervention, we are completely incapable of preparing materials for reuse without the proper government-regulated methods. I believe that as Utah residents, we, in order to preserve this beautiful environment, simply lack the tools to do so. While change doesn't happen overnight, you can change the habits you have in your home today. As long as we do our part to properly dispose of recyclable materials, the government will have to take notice and provide us with more access to waste management facilities. In addition to this, you can become an advocate by participating in public forums, social media, and other creative methods. Most importantly, as we think about the future and how long we want this scenic landscape to last, think about the quality environment you want to provide for your children and grandchildren. The environment won't heal itself. It will take time, but as we apply sound waste management practices, change can take place. We can teach these practices to our children, just like my mom taught me, making waste management an innate habit for future generations. Thank you.